So definitely my goal for this week is to finish this book. I fear that the Throne of Glass series has ruined reading for me. Come on. And I'm glad you get to see my reactions to this book. Welcome to another reading vlog. So this video is actually going to be a completely different type of reading vlog. I had come up with a really fun challenge and I was really excited to film this for you. However, I do think that it's going to be way too much on my plate for me this week. It involves me reading like 4 or 5 books at a time on top of doing my schoolwork and everything, and like that was the point. Like the point was to do a reading challenge on top of everything I do and see how they work together. But I just know it's going to be a lot for me. I can tell my period is going to start soon and I just know I am not going to be able to complete it. So I'm going to try and do it some other time for you. The main theme for this vlog is reading books that I'm intimidated by. So I'll quickly take you through my TBR for this week and for this video. So the main book that I'll be reading that I am definitely intimidated by, even though I have started it, is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. It's the final book in the Throne of Glass series. This has been a long time coming and I'm very ready to finally complete this series and be done with it. However, it's like a chunker of a book and I have made pretty good progress. I'm on page 176, but that's still like not even a dent. Like we are not yet into it. There's action going on. We have reunited with all our characters and like war is definitely brewing. It's definitely tense, but we haven't really gotten into the thick of it. So I am just kind of scared to see what happens and I have been waiting to finish this series for quite some time. And then the other intimidating book that will be a focus of this video is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab. I have put off reading this for a long time as well. I did try reading it last year with my friend Haley as a buddy read, and you know, life kind of just got in the way, but I was also just so like scared of this book. Like not really in a bad way, like I didn't think I would like it, but more just like I've heard incredible things about this and I kind of just didn't want to be disappointed, and that is a theme for a lot of the books that I own that I'm intimidated by. Like I'm just thinking of some on my shelves right now, like Crooked Kingdom and Priory of the Orange Tree, and like even a couple other ones that I'm blanking on right now, but like a lot of the ones that I have procrastinated reading because I've been intimidated by, they're like very well-loved books and they've like gotten really high ratings. So I feel like the only reason I'm intimidated by them is because I feel like I'll be disappointed and the expectations are so high that if they don't meet those, then it'll ruin the reading experience. And so I'm kind of just doing this to prove that that's not true, that I can still enjoy a book and enjoy the reading experience without having to like get too into the hype and, you know, my expectations. So I'm not going to be lowering my expectations for this or for Kingdom of Ash. I do really think I will love both of those books. Well, I know I'll love Kingdom of Ash, but I do think I'll love this one for sure. I'm just gonna bite the bullet. Like, I'm just ready to read this story because I want to know why people love it so much. And this is my Fable book club pick for March. If you're interested, definitely go join. It's called Frolicking Through Fantasy, and every month we read a different fantasy book. So this is our pick for March. And finally, also going to be buddy reading this with Haley. So yay, full circle moment. So I haven't actually started this. I did change out my annotation tabs. They were blue at first, but now I'm going kind of for like a darker, more like earthy tone theme. I just feel like it matches kind of the vibe, and this is like an exclusive edition, so it is like green and gold. I just thought it would look nice. But I am hoping to read at least a little bit tonight because today is currently March 16th and I have not started it at all. Like, we're over halfway through the month and I still have not started this month's book club pick, and I would really like to finish it this month. Now, I do have a couple audiobooks, but I feel like I've still been weird with those recently. I've been trying to do better about listening to them consistently because I've recently been like running really close to my due date for the books, and then it just returns to my library and I'm like, crap, what do I do? Like, that's why Twilight is still over there, because my audiobook hasn't come back in, and I know I can read it physically, but the audiobook was really, really good. So as for an audiobook, I did start this in my last vlog, which you should go watch, but I'm still reading Metal Slinger at the time of filming this by Rachel Schneider. I'm 76% through and it's due tomorrow. So I would really like to finish it today or tomorrow. That way I don't have to put in another hold just to read like the last 15 or so percent. But as for my thoughts about this book, really briefly, I'll definitely give you a full review when I finish it. I'm just kind of bored right now. Like, I was really intrigued in the first little bit when we were getting to know our characters, but I think after like we left the first kingdom and like going on a journey and stuff, it just slowed down. Like, the pacing was killing me, and I feel like there's gonna be something big happen here soon, but I've just been kind of bored with that book, so I am ready to finish it. So that has been a long enough intro. I hope you're excited for this vlog, and I really hope you enjoy watching. I think for now I'm going to get comfy in some pajamas because it is freaking snowing outside. It is like 30 degrees and tomorrow the high is going to be like 25 or something. I don't know what is going on with the weather because next weekend is going to be like 75. So yeah, I think I'm going to get cozy. I do have a lot of laundry to put away, so I will listen to some of Metal Slinger, hopefully finish it, and then tonight I would like to read a little bit of Addie Larue. Hello everyone, I did just shower, as you can see, but it is like 30 degrees outside today. It is so freaking cold, and I just don't know what happened because this weekend it's gonna be 80 degrees. And I'm very happy about that, but like, why? Why? My allergies are going crazy right now. But I'm kind of gonna make this a quick little reading update for today. Today is Tuesday. I had such a long, draining day. I'm exhausted. I just want to lay down and do nothing. I do have so much homework to do, but I know I'm not gonna be able to focus, and it's actually like important stuff I have to do. So I think tomorrow I'm gonna make it my big homework day and get to campus super early and just get to work. But the exciting news is that I did start The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab today. I got up early this morning. I've been getting up really early in the mornings recently. That's definitely been my new like routine, and I really, really like it. I didn't used to be a morning person, but my boyfriend leaves for work at like 7:45. So we get up at about 6:30-ish. and I just make us coffee and then I sit up there and read while he does some work before he goes to work. So I've been getting a lot of reading done early in the mornings, which I've been loving, and I read about 35 pages this morning. So really not that much to like give you a full opinion on it, but I am really liking the writing style so far. V.E. Schwab has some beautiful quotes that I've already tabbed, which I will read you one that I really loved. So we're still kind of getting to know Addie as a main character. So far she's definitely very adventurous, kind of stubborn, and just a very interesting person. We're kind of going back and forth from like the 1700s when she's growing up in her small village in France to the future where she has lived all these lives but no one can remember her, and so we've already seen one instance of that, and it's just really sad, and I'm just so curious to see how this is going to work for her. There was one quote that I loved from the spring of 1707 when she was a 16-year-old in France, and it says, "If she must grow roots, she would rather be left to flourish wild instead of pruned, would rather stand alone, allowed to grow beneath the open sky. Better that than firewood, cut down just to burn in someone else's hearth." And so she's kind of like coming of age, and she has all this pressure to get married young and, you know, start a family in her small little village because that's what they do. But she has her eyes set on leaving the village and going to the markets with her father, and she just knows there's so much more out there for her, and she just refuses to like go along with that. She wants to like create her own life. And I just thought that quote was really beautiful. And something else that I really loved is in chapter 2. It literally starts with, "March is such a fickle month. It is the seam between winter and spring, though seam suggests an even hem, and March is more like a rough line of stitches sewn by an unsteady hand, swinging wildly between January gusts and June greens. You don't know what you'll find until you step outside." And that is just so perfect for the time in which I'm reading this, because today is 30 degrees like I said, and then Saturday is going to be like 75, and that is just so true. You don't know what you'll find when you'll step outside during March, and like just what crazy timing is that I'm reading this during the like it was just very pleasant to read. So yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this so far. I would like to make good progress here soon. And I did also finish my audiobook, which was Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider, and boy do I have some thoughts. So first of all, I knew it was like a stereotypical romantasy. It definitely blew up like on TikTok and, you know, book social media and everything. So I did have to like lower my expectations a bit, but I had seen so many people hyping up like the plot twist at the end, and it was just like such a crazy, shocking ending. Oh my gosh, it blew everyone's minds. And like, you know, that intrigued me. Like I knew it was kind of just gonna be like an okay fantasy. So it's not that I was like disappointed, but I just kind of like didn't really understand why people love this book so much. So first off, it definitely had strong traces of ACOTAR and even like Fourth Wing, I would say, like kind of like the standard romantasy books that are really popular, which is not a bad thing. Like I don't really mind when books are like inspired by something, because nowadays you won't really see like something super original. Like if it is, it's still reminiscent of things, and a book can still like be inspired by something and remind you of something, and that's totally okay. But there are just so many things in this book that I was like, okay, this is just ACOTAR. Like you just kind of took this from ACOTAR, but it's not as good. So for example, there's a mating bond, and without spoiling ACOTAR, without spoiling Metal Slinger, there's just a mating bond, and then the whole premise of the romance is about like accepting the bond and coming to terms with it and like falling in love with this person, which is fine. But again, it was just too coincidental. And the second thing was the first love interest is blonde and like supposed to be kind of shitty towards the main character, and then the second love interest is like dark and mysterious and like a super badass cool guy. And I was like, okay, this is just Hamlin and Rysand. Like I just couldn't, you know. So it didn't ruin the book for me, but it made it feel kind of predictable, because if you take these tropes that ACOTAR uses, you can kind of sniff out where it's going. Like not that the plot was the same as ACOTAR, but like it was kind of predictable in a way. The second thing, the world building of this book was very minimal, which I didn't really mind. I did like some of the fantasy aspects, but it felt just very like half-baked. Like it was kind of thought out, but it wasn't fleshed out enough to like really immerse me in this world. Like we had some political intrigue, we had magic, but nothing was really explained in a way that like made me super intrigued by it. Like it was interesting, but it wasn't enough to like really make me obsessed with it. However, it just made me not care as much about like the war and the rebellion and like the politics of this book because it wasn't really explained and like super detailed. And also, the pacing of this book just felt really off. I really loved the beginning part where we started off in the country, well, I guess like the exiled part of this world called Alaha. Basically, a long time ago, these people were exiled from the mainland called Kenta, and they're forced to live in this grove. There's no land, and it's just fully like made of trees and like bridges, and it's like fully on the water. It's really, really cool. And they have to like ration food to survive. It was very intriguing to me, and I really like that concept. But then once we left Alaha, the main characters were on the boat for so freaking long. I swear they were on this boat from 15% of this book to all the way up to like 30 or 40. I can't really remember, but it was so long. They were on this freaking boat. And I know it was to build up the romance, like with the forced proximity, but like I was so bored. I was like, can we just move forward? Like I get we're trying to survive, but I'm so freaking bored right now. And then once we got onto land and like we were traveling back to the main country and everything, learning about more of the war, nothing really stood out to me about these countries. Like it just felt very cookie cutter fantasy, which is not a bad thing. Like that's totally fine. But it was just very like generic. Like nothing really gripped me. And so it just kind of fell flat because I was like, okay, nothing really is happening with the plot. We're just kind of traveling. The main character is learning, and that's good for her character arc. But like let's keep it going. Like it was definitely dragging for me. And same thing with the magic. It wasn't really anything special to me. Nothing stood out, nor was it explained very well to make me care more about it. So we've had a lot of misses so far. There are a couple wins from this book. I did really like some of the side characters, specifically Acre's sister named Bo. She was really, really fun. I really liked her kind of like lighthearted yet also intimidating side. Like she was, you know, very sweet, but she can also be tough as nails. And then I did also like the character named Messer. He was really, really fun, kind of like comedic relief and just, you know, an interesting character. However, the main character was very insufferable at times. But overall, I would say she was fine. Like she did annoy me, but she was okay. She just, again, kind of bored me. But also, why did she keep just like simping for the main male character, Acre? She was just simping for him when he just like lied from her. Like he kept hiding things from her, like not really in a malicious way, but like you would think if she's coming back to this world and like learning about everything that she didn't know before, you would think he would like, you know, guide her through and help her, but he's just like hiding things from her, not telling her about really important political things I can't say because of spoilers. And she just kept like making out with him. Like every conversation they had that was an argument ended in like a makeout scene, and I'm like, come on. So her lust for him definitely like clouded her vision, and I just wish they would have like been a bit more mature and she would have like grown a bit more rather than just like, you know, want to make out with him every 5 seconds. Because in my opinion, it just didn't really add much depth to their relationship. Like they did survive things together, like on the boat, but it wasn't really that much. Hello, editing Nora here. I just wanted to clarify my thoughts on the romance in Metal Slinger. I feel like I didn't explain myself very well, but basically I just wish that these characters would have been a bit more mature when going down the road of a relationship like they did. Like obviously this is just a book, this is just my opinion, but for there to be so many similarities between ACOTAR and these two main characters had survived on a boat in the middle of the ocean, like starving for food, not knowing if they were going to live for, I think, weeks or months, or a very long period of time without knowing if they were going to live. They were just surviving together and trying to get through it. So obviously there has to be a bit of shared trauma there. And then once we get to the mainland, that's in the past, the love interest is like lying to the main character. He's not being honest about things that he should be telling her that regard her and her future, because she is just thrust into this brand new world. You know, things are new for her. She doesn't understand things. She's very vulnerable in her position right now. And I just wish she would have stuck up for herself more and they would have communicated these things maturely with each other. But instead, they just argue and then they end up having a spicy scene. And we just went straight to the physical stuff without getting into like the nitty-gritty, vulnerable, intimate relationship details. And again, for there to be so many similarities between ACOTAR with Feyre and Rhysand, not to spoil ACOTAR for you, but they had some shared trauma, some very intense scenes that they lived through, and they kind of bonded over that. And then when they had their mating bond, they had to make terms with that and talk about it. And they had like issues before they fell in love. And so I know that romantasy, it's mainly about the romance. And so it didn't surprise me that these characters acted this way, but it kind of made me not like them because it just stunted their character arcs. And they threw away like their beliefs and, you know, the things that made them who they are as characters for the sake of a spicy scene or a makeout or, you know, something to make the reader's hearts flutter. And I just don't agree with that. I wish their characters would have been a bit more mature. It would have made their connection seem deeper, and it would have made the ending hit a lot harder. The way the plot twist was, that did disappoint me, as you'll see. I think if these characters had a bit more time to like actually come to terms with their shared trauma in the past and how they survived this together and how they're embarking on this journey together, I think that would have made the ending a lot more hard-hitting. And lastly, we have the plot twist. Extremely underwhelming, and to be honest, it just undid everything that happened in the entire book. Like, it came out of nowhere, and it felt more like a plot twist for the sake of having like a shock value and something to twist the readers and wow, like blow them away. It just didn't really seem justified because we didn't really have much world building and specifically like political explanations, in my opinion, throughout the entire book. So for this plot twist to come kind of out of nowhere, it just didn't really make sense because nothing had like truly been built up. So it did just kind of underwhelm me. It felt kind of included for shock value and undid a lot of like the friendships, the relationships, any political building that was there was all kind of like for nothing. So I feel like I kind of read this book for nothing. So I definitely see how people enjoyed this, but it did just feel kind of lazy. It did feel kind of like half fleshed out. So I am like curious about book 2, but to be honest with you, I'm not really that intrigued to read it. I'm probably not going to read that book. So I gave it 2 stars overall. I don't really recommend it, but if you are curious about it, give it a shot, see what you think. Good morning everyone. I haven't updated you for a couple of days, but I wanted to check in. So I am continuing this vlog into this week. It is currently the final like full week of March, so I'm really trying to finish my March TBR, specifically my 2 intimidating books. That is the whole premise of this video. I have been making more progress with one than I have with the other, but I was kind of just in a little rut last week. I don't really know what was going on. Well, I do. It was definitely my period, but I kind of was just feeling really burnt out about school and just having a lot of like thoughts about life and my future and stuff that is like way too deep to talk about in this vlog clip. But yeah, I was kind of in a rough patch last week, just mentally. So I didn't really read as much as I would like to, but I'm feeling a lot better now, especially since we got some good weather over the weekend. It was like 80 degrees. I got to play some tennis on Sunday and I did end up getting a sunburn, which honestly I'm happy about because it was just such a great day. It was very warm and sunny and great, and now it's back to being like 50 degrees, but it is what it is. So I have made quite a bit of progress in Kingdom of Ash. I am up to about 400 pages in. I'm 20 pages shy of 400, which is still not even halfway through this book. Like, that's really crazy that this book is so massive, but I'm not mad at myself for reading it slowly. I just want to spend as much time as I can in this world with these characters because this is the very last one. And this is the first time I'm reading this, so I want to treasure this experience. I want to savor it as much as I can, and you know, and I just know I'm gonna miss them so much once it's over, so I'm trying to not like speed through it. I'm not really pressuring myself to finish it in March, even though I would like to because my April TBR is kind of stacked and April as a month is kind of busy. The last month of the semester of my final semester, so just that sentence there stresses me out. So I would like to finish this before all that chaos ensues, but if I don't, it's okay. I am totally fine with prolonging this as long as possible so I can not have this end. But there were some scenes in this that I was genuinely crying over, like not like sobbing, but like I was tearing up. Like it was really intense, and I even think about it and my heart just kind of drops. And if you know, you know, you've read this book. All I'll say is like take it off and you might know and you might lose your mind, because I definitely did. And wow, I just am so impressed by Sarah J Maas's writing. Like I know she's so popular as an author and her books get a lot of crap sometimes, but I just don't think people realize like the effect that good writing can have, especially good writing of such solid characters who genuinely just feel like real people. Like I feel like I know them in and out, and it's just so impactful. So yeah, I'm just really loving this book. It's so special. And then as for The Invisible Life of Addie Larue, I won't lie. My progress has been really slow with this. It's not that I'm not interested in it anymore. I had this issue when I was trying to read it last year. I just wasn't really pulled to it. Like nothing was really holding my attention. The premise is definitely interesting because so far she has made a deal, made a bargain with this god who answered after dark, and you're not supposed to do that because you can't really trust them. It's kind of sketchy. So she made a deal with him to escape a marriage that she didn't want, and so now she's kind of cursed to not be remembered by anybody. Like even for if they leave the room for 2 seconds, they'll come back and they won't remember her at all. And so we were kind of flipping back in time from the past in like the 1700s when she's in her small little village in France and like just making this deal and trying to like live with it and like learn from it, and into the future. I think it's like 2014 and she's in New York, and it's kind of just like really mundane right now. Like I'm definitely more interested in the past perspective in the 1700s because she's learning about her curse and, you know, trying to figure things out and testing the boundaries of it, like if she can get hurt or like if she can like actually possess objects. She can't even like write something, it'll fade away because she can't make an effect on anything. Like she cannot write her name, she can't like speak her name, she can't tell anyone about it. So it's interesting to see how she like tests the limits of it. I'm definitely more intrigued by that right now, and the chapters are really short. I just think it's very slow paced for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm only up to page 79, which is like not that far into it. So definitely my goal for this week is to finish this book. I would love to make a lot of progress with this because this is the book club book for my Fable book club, and I'm kind of stressed because I hopefully we'll finish it. And me and Haley are planning to do like a little FaceTime and kind of like discuss the book. So if you are in the book club and if you would be interested in like discussing it with me and Haley, let me know, because I feel like that would be fun to do like a live stream and we could talk about it. I don't really know how to do that, so if you're interested, let me know and we'll figure it out. But yeah, I would really like to finish this or at least make some progress. I'm really close to part 2, which is on page, like around page 90. So I'm really close. I'm about 10 pages or so away from that. And I just feel like I can read this fast. I just need to like put my attention on it. I just need to kind of like lock in a bit. But I have been annotating it. There aren't as many annotations as I thought there would be so far, but I will say most of them have been for like beautiful writing and beautiful quotes. I really am loving the Chillhop's writing style so far. Her prose is very nice and it's very like fluid. I feel like it flows very well. Like even though the pacing of the story feels kind of slow to me, she kind of like flows it along and like it's not like choppy, if that makes sense. So I will say this is definitely my priority for this video and for this week, but I cannot resist reading this, so I know I'm gonna make some progress in this. And then I have been listening to an audiobook, which I will tell you about. And I can't remember if I've told you about it before, but it's called Bones by K.L. Spear. It's like a post-apocalyptic kind of dystopian romance book. And I believe this is like an indie published book. So I did find an audiobook copy on Libby, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The world building is not really there. So I will say it is kind of like confusing at times because I don't really know like the political balance and kind of like the structure of this, but all I'll say is it's very like Mad Max-esque. Like it's kind of in the desert, kind of not, but they're in like a stronghold, and it's not as like futuristic and kind of like wacky as Mad Max. Like I think of Mad Max Fury Road and how like weird some of those people were. It's not really like that. It's more like tame, more like almost like Last of Us type of situation without like the zombies. So the atmosphere I really enjoy. I think it's really fascinating how they've got this whole like keep in kind of like the forest, and like it's a secluded society that our main character Bones has escaped into and kind of been kidnapped into. She basically has these magical healing powers, so she can heal people. She is now this little town's healer and is helping a lot of people, but of course there's struggles. But she is part of this crew. The leader is named Mac, and there's this other character named Trey, and she's kind of in like a little love triangle with them, definitely leaning more towards Trey, but she is definitely a flawed character. Like you will be angry at her. There have been times I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Why are you making these decisions? But she has very low trust for people. She's been hurt in the past, and so she's kind of like growing from that, and her crew really is trying to take care of her and show her that like, hey, it's okay to trust us. You don't have to be strong all the time. Like you can let us take care of you. So I'm about 55% through of that. I would like to finish that soon, but yeah, I'm feeling okay about that book. I am enjoying it. I just wish there was a bit more world building and like explanation of like why they're in this little secluded area and like really what's like the bigger scheme, what's the stakes of this world, because I don't really have a clear picture on like what actually happened in the past. But there is a book too, so potentially I might read that and figure out more. But I actually do have to leave for work right now, so I hopefully will update you probably tomorrow. I do have a busy night tonight. So hello everybody, happy Wednesday. I am about to get in bed and read for a bit because I have no mental capacity for anything else. But I'm just going to turn some ambience on my TV, and I always have to unplug it because for some reason it just never works the first time. But I'm going to turn some ambience on and hopefully I can read a little bit more.
But then I realized when he shows up dead, I'm the first one they look at. This is all starting to like go through my head at this point.
Oh, drama. I love when like Lifetime TV just like blasts as soon as it comes on. But yeah, I'm definitely in the mood to read more of Kingdom of Ash right now. However, I know I need to make progress in Addie Larue. I just haven't really been feeling pulled to that recently. I talked about it a bit in my last clip, but yeah, I'm kind of just like not really invested in it yet, and I know it's because I haven't really made like consistent progress. So it's my own fault, but yeah, I'm definitely just in the mood for Kingdom of Ash. We've had a lot of action-packed things happening, and I need to give you a page update as well. So I got up to page 450 this morning, which is like not exactly halfway through, but it's really close. So yeah, I'm just loving this book. I don't want it to end, and there was a scene last night where I was tearing up again, and it was just like a full circle moment. It was so good. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try and read a little bit more of Addie Larue, but I'm not gonna like deny myself reading Kingdom of Ash, obviously. I am like kind of getting stressed because like it's the last week of March and I'm not like putting too much pressure on myself to like read and finish all these books, but going into April I'm doing the magical readathon, so I feel like I need to have like a clean slate, like a blank TBR, so that way I can start on my April TBR on April 1st. But I also put in hold for the audiobook for Addie Larue, so hopefully that comes in a timely fashion and I can either listen to that while driving and, you know, doing other stuff, or I can listen to it while reading. I would really like to listen to it while I physically read. That way I'm like more immersed and it'll help me focus, because I've done that before on like challenging books or books that I'm not super into but I like want to finish reading. I did that with my reread of Strange the Dreamer actually, where I listened to the audiobook but I realized I wanted to read it physically again, so I just did both and it really helped. It really is a good experience. So yeah, I'm gonna turn on some ambiance and try and get some pages done. I work tomorrow on Thursday, but I don't have my poetry class tomorrow, and I'm so happy about that. So I think I don't know if I'll go down to campus because I tend to focus a lot better on campus when I need to do schoolwork, but if there's not a reason for me to go down there, I don't really want to. So I'll figure that out. but I am going to do a bit of homework tomorrow night because I'm behind. And then I also don't work Friday. Normally I work, I think 5 or 6 hours on Fridays, but I'm working Saturday morning instead, which sucks. I really like having the weekends off, but my boss is out of town, so I'm covering, which is fine. The next couple days, I'm definitely gonna prioritize Addie Larue as much as possible, but I won't lie, I'm just so invested in this. Like, we are in the thick of like the war, and all the big reveals are happening and all our characters are coming together, and it's just so satisfying to read. And I'm also just really, I'm so sad because it's coming to an end, but I'm also so happy. Like, I am loving this book. So I'm glad I'm recording my experience and you get to see my thoughts on it. Obviously I can't spoil anything, but I'm glad you get to see my reactions to this book. I woke up to a package, some book mail. This is from Entangled Publishing, which feels very random because I joined their like Facebook, like not exactly influencer group, but like their Facebook readers group, and you like make an account and sometimes they send you random book mail. And I've never gotten one before from them. To be honest, I thought about leaving it because I was just like, you know, I wasn't really like paying that much attention to it, and I felt like I was like, okay, I don't really need to be in this anymore. But little do I know, this shows up today, and it's just such a pleasant surprise. So I'm really curious to see what it is. I never really receive mail like this, so I'm really excited, and thank you so much to Entangled for sending me this. So let's just open it and see what it is. Nice little pull tab here. Whoa. Oh, that didn't work very well. Moment of truth. Okay, what is this? Ooh. Okay, this looks interesting. This is called Stealing Infinity by Allison Noel. This is an advanced reader's copy. Wow. So this is a young adult book. This is a young adult fantasy. On the back it says The Da Vinci Code meets Riverdale. That really intrigues me because I don't really know much about the Da Vinci Code, except it's kind of like a, I think, mystery adventure type book. And then obviously Riverdale. We know what that is. I did really enjoy the first season of Riverdale back when I watched it in middle school, and then I never watched anything else. So I'll read you the blurb so you can get an idea of what it's about. And honestly, I have no idea either, so this will be a first time for all of us. But it says, my life goes completely sideways the moment I meet the mysterious Braxton. Okay, sure, he's ridiculously hot, but he's also the reason I've been kicked out of school and recruited into Grey Wolf Academy, a remote island school completely off the grid. I never should have trusted a face so perfect. But the reality of why Grey Wolf wanted me is what truly blows my mind. It's a school for time travelers. Tripping, they call it. This place is filled with elaborate costumes and rare artifacts where every move is strategic and the halls are filled with shadows and secrets. Here, what you see isn't always what appears, including Braxton, because even though there's an energy connecting us together, the more secrets he keeps from me, the more it feels like something is pulling us apart. Something that has to do with this place and its darker purpose. It's all part of a guarded, elaborate puzzle of history and time, and I might be one of the missing pieces. Now I have all the time in the world, and yet I can't shake the feeling that time is the one thing I'm about to run out of fast. Oh my gosh, wait, this just gave me so much whiplash. Because I won't lie, the first paragraph saying when she met Braxton, and like, sure, he's ridiculously hot, and then the Grey Wolf Academy. I won't lie, I was judging it a bit. Because number one, I don't like the name Braxton. That's just a personal thing. And the sentence, sure, he's ridiculously hot. I'm like, that's just, this is like some classic Twilight, like young adult writing. And, you know, I'm not like judging it like that, but like it did just kind of throw me for a loop. I was like, oh yeah. But then it's a school for time travelers. That sounds so cool and like something bigger than just the academy. That sounds really, really interesting to me. This was a surprise. Thank you so much, Entangled Teen. Again, thank you so much. I'm very grateful to have this, and I am very surprised at this, and I'm also very curious now. This sounds super interesting. I don't typically read young adult books very often anymore. I feel like I've kind of grown out of that. But hey, this is exciting. So I just was reading this. This came out in 2022, so I'm very confused. But I'm still grateful to have this. Thank you again for sending it to me, but I am confused on why I was sent this, but hey, thank you very much. Reading the synopsis gave me a fun ride, and yeah, I'm curious on what this is gonna be like. I'm gonna give it a shot, see what I think. But I actually just had a bit of a slower morning. It's very like rainy and kind of gloomy today, and it's cold again. This weather has been all over the place, but I have the day off today from both school and work, which is very exciting. I don't typically have like totally free days, so I'm going to do a little bit of editing right now, and then once I do a substantial amount, I think I'm gonna go to the gym because I haven't been to the gym in a little bit, and I'm gonna do like a full body workout. I think that way I kind of feel like fully refreshed, like not just my legs or something. But I will update you on my reading and how my day went later today. Hello everybody, I have some reading updates for you. Firstly is that I finished my current audiobook, which was Bones by K.L. Spear. I have a lot of thoughts about that book that I will go into. Maybe not now. Maybe not now. I might need to like actually sit down with you and have a proper chat. I finished that. I did give it 3 stars, but I have a lot to say about it. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. But I have read more of Kingdom of Ash. This is so freaking good. I'm on page 670. So I'm getting really, really close to finishing, and I really don't want to finish. I just want to prolong it as long as possible. I'm just loving it so much, and just spending more time with these characters. I don't know how I'm gonna read any other book and connect to it as much as I've connected to these characters and to this story. Like genuinely, there's so many books on my shelves that I look at and I'm so excited about them, but I'm also like, I fear that the Throne of Glass series has ruined reading for me in a good and a bad way. But yeah, I'm still loving that. And then surprisingly, I did actually read more of Addie Larue last night. I finally picked it back up. I'm on page 119. So I think last time I was on page 70 something. So I read just a little bit, but I'm in part 2 now. And we have finally met the character of Henry, who, I won't lie, is keeping me more engaged than like just Addie was. Like, I was interested in Addie, but the pacing, and she kind of like bored me for a little bit, but I was still getting into it. So I don't really know if that was like a me thing or if it was a book thing, but we've met Henry now. He's really interesting. He remembered her, which is surely going to take a turn, push this story forward. So I'm curious to see where that goes. It is just very like slow paced. It's just kind of hard for me to like read very quickly, and I'm okay with that. Like I don't need to speed read this, but I definitely am not going to be able to finish it in March because today is actually March 30th and April 1st is on Wednesday, so I don't think I'll be able to finish it in March, unfortunately, but I did get the audiobook that finally came in, so potentially if I have time, I can listen to some of it while I actually read, or I can listen to some like in the car. Now that I finished Bones, I might do that actually. This week is really busy though, so we'll see how it goes, but so I'm currently house sitting. I've had the most chaotic week ever. I swear I just live the same day every day. My routine is off. I'm very discombobulated right now and I have my bike garden, so please ignore the lisp that I have. But tonight is finally the night to finish Kingdom of Ash. And I've been putting this off, not on purpose. Genuinely, I have not been putting this off on purpose. I have wanted to finish this every single day. I have thought about it every single day and just wanted to finally finish this book. Last week on Thursday, on April 2nd, I remember this, I read such a killer chapter of this book, such a pivotal chapter near the end. And I read it before I had to go into work that day. And that same day, I also started house sitting for another dog. But I started house sitting that day. So I haven't had time to read this book for about a week. It's been killing me. This past week has been insane. Went camping over the weekend, had Easter, it was great. But I have this much left. Literally this much left. And I have not finished it. So I am just going to bite the bullet. I'm ready to finish it. I feel like it'll devastate me. I am going to like reread a chapter or two just to like get myself into it again because I'm going to be picking up in the aftermath of what just happened. So I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to turn on some ambience and we are going to finally finish the Throne of Glass series. Oh my gosh. Is this real? Is this real right now? Like I haven't prolong this on purpose. It's purely just been because I've been so busy. I haven't had the chance to pick this up and just like sit down and have uninterrupted reading time. And it's currently, what time is it? It's 10:41, which is way later than I normally stay up. Normally I'm in bed by 9, asleep by 9:30 at the latest. So this is kind of late for me, but I'm gonna stay up as long as it takes. I'm excited. And let's just get started. Everyone, I'm getting really sleepy. It's 11:30. I have like 10 pages left, so let's get through this before I fall asleep. I'm freaking tearing up over the acknowledgements. Oh my gosh, so he's like directing it to the readers, saying none of this would have been possible without you. I could write another 1,000 pages about how grateful I am and will always be. But in the end, all I can think to say is that I hope that your dreams, whatever they may be, come true. I hope you pursue those dreams with your whole heart. I hope you work toward them no matter how long it takes, no matter how unlikely the odds. Believe in yourself, even if it feels that the world does not. Believe in yourself and it will carry you farther than you can imagine. You can make it. You will make it. I'm rooting for you. That just really hit me as like someone who's writing a fantasy book. Like I want to be an author. That's my dream. Hearing that from one of my favorite authors just really hit me. Yeah, I didn't know I needed to hear that from Sarah J. Maas, but yeah, that really got to me. So hello everyone. So as I'm sure you saw, I did finish Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This was such a bittersweet conclusion to this series, and I like truly can't believe that it's over. Like I've been thinking about it every day ever since I finished it, and I had like a really busy weekend, so I was kind of distracted. But now that it's like back to routine, back to normal, I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like there's no more. I will say I was a little bit disappointed in the way it ended. Not that I didn't like it, I just expected a lot more things to be explained and be like kind of wrapped up with a lot of our characters. And obviously I know the main focus was on the main character and her finally being home, and it was just so beautiful to see that finally like play out and pay off after this entire series of her going through everything that she went through. But I did expect a little bit more from our side characters, who are also just as important as our main character Aelin, and I don't know, they all kind of went their separate ways and they had like a big goodbye, which was really beautiful and sad to read about. But it was also like, I understand why we didn't get like to see everything and like about where everyone ended up, like all the details. I understand that wasn't the point. The point was on our girl Aelin, but I did really want to see like where Manon ended up, because she is like my favorite character. Like obviously I love Aelin, I love all of the characters in this book, but I just have a special spot for Manon. I love her, and she went through a lot in this book, and I just really wanted to see like her finally be home in her own way. And I'm getting upset thinking about it, but yeah, it was so good. And I don't know, I just expected a lot of different things, but I still love this. Like that didn't really change anything for me, it just kind of took me by surprise. Yeah, and the acknowledgements, that got me when she was talking to the readers, that really got to me. And yeah, I just love this series. This is definitely like my favorite series of all time, and this is one of my favorite books of all time, and I can't believe that it's over. But yeah, absolute 5-star read, 6-star read even. Like this is, oh my gosh, such a good book. And then as promised, I am going to give you my thoughts on the book Bones by K.L. Spear, which was the audiobook I was listening to in this vlog. It has been a bit since I finished that, so my memory is kind of lacking, but basically my whole issue with this book is that the main character, she has a lot of trauma when we first meet her in this book. A lot of things have happened in her past, that she has a lot of trust issues with new people, and so at the start of this book she is basically being kidnapped by this new group who are taking her to like their hold, their like compound in the mountains, because this is kind of like a post-apocalyptic setting. And so she is obviously very hard to trust people, but she has these magical healing powers, so she is instated as this little community's healer, and she has her clinic and she starts to like feel at home there. And it was really nice to see her like work through her past issues and kind of work through her trauma and like open herself up. She had a really hard time, obviously, which made her character very unlikable at times, because she made a lot of decisions that I didn't really understand. Like I understood them because of who she was and what she had been through, but they just made me mad because I'm like, you were just hurting the people that care about you, and I know that was the point. But yeah, it did bother me. So throughout the book she's worked through this trauma, and she actually has made a lot of character progression through the entire book. And we get about like 75% through and a lot has changed. There's a romance now with one of the characters and she seems to be doing really well, but then they get brought back to the compound, and obviously without spoilers I'm not going to say anything that like happens and give it all away, but she is basically like brought back to square one of her trauma, and it's like it's a revolving cycle, and like all the work she had done to get to this point and like to find happiness and like be open with someone and in love with someone is just gone. And I just didn't really like that choice, because that involved a certain character not being there anymore. That's all I'll say. And I just feel like that was just not a good decision for her character. And there is a book 2, which I don't really know how I feel about reading. Like I'm interested in it, but I'm just kind of mad. I'm like, we went through all this work of following her story and trying to care for her character and like, you know, give her some grace as she works through this, and then it all just is undone. And I know that like trauma and like healing is not like a linear process and everyone works through it in their different ways, but for her to like go something that is as horrible as what she went through at the end of this book and to lose what she lost, I just thought it just did her a disservice, and it just didn't really I don't know, I just don't think it was the best decision. And it just kind of threw a lot of the plot and like the entire journey of her character away. And I sense that there's another romance brewing with someone different, and I just don't really like that choice because we could have had what we had in the first book in book 2 if we just didn't do this one thing. So yeah, I did enjoy it overall. I ended up giving it a 3-star. I believe I gave it a 3 or 3.5 star. So I enjoyed it. I do recommend it. It's a bit different of a book, but I do know that this book is being traditionally published here in the future. I don't know what the timeline is on that, but I saw on the author's Instagram page that she has a traditional deal now, which is awesome for her. I'm so happy. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be any like reworkings, any changes of the story when it's re-released traditionally. I might pick it back up then and see what I think. But yeah, for now I just thought it was okay. I just kind of was frustrated with the way the story went and what that meant for Bones' character. And I wish, I don't know what I would change about it. Not that I could say it because obviously spoilers, but like, I don't know. And the pacing was a little bit slow. I feel like we spent so much time just with like filler scenes, like stuff that didn't really make sense. I could not tell where the plot was going in this book, which I don't think is a bad thing because like I was reading it for the first time. I just got to follow along and find out. But I do think it would have made it a lot more entertaining and like held my attention better if like the plot would have been more engaging and like the stakes would have been a bit higher. Like there were very tense moments in this book. This book was very, very dark, and like I definitely want to warn you if you try to read this book, like there are some brutal scenes in this book. It's a lot. And it was a lot to listen to on audiobook, that's for sure. But on that note, I wanted to update you and say that I have made a lot more progress with The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab. I'm still reading this just so slowly. I definitely think it's just been school that's gotten in the way, and for the past like week and a half I have been either out of town or house sitting or just had absolutely no time to just sit and read consistently. It's been absolutely insane. But I have gotten up to page 200, which is really, really close to halfway through. I'm very, very happy with that. Unfortunately, I do have to end this vlog now. So you will not be able to see my progress and my thoughts on this in this video, but I promise I will update you in a video here soon. You will definitely see my final thoughts either in like a wrap up or another vlog, I'm not sure yet. But as for a brief little rundown, I definitely am more engaged right now. I really like Addie's character and also Henry's character. I think their relationship and their dynamic right now is so interesting, and it's just very, very fascinating to me what's going on, and that Henry is like the only one who can remember her. She's still trying to like comprehend and kind of navigate this relationship. Like she's like snooping through his house. I remember that's like the last thing I read. She's snooping through his house and like finding stuff out about him, and when he leaves he says see you later or something, and she knows that like he means it. Like it's the first time that someone will actually be able to return and not be shocked that she's in their house. Like there have been so many times for her where she's woken up with someone and they are just like, oh my gosh, how did you get here? Like they forgot she was there because they don't remember her. And so she's just like, she's going through so many emotions because he's the first one who remembers her. So I'm super excited to continue this. I definitely plan to update you about my thoughts. And I'm just so happy to have finished one of my most intimidating books. This has been scaring me for the longest time. Just finishing the series as a whole has scared me for so long. And it's just such, it's such a satisfying moment to have finished this, so I'm very happy that I did. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really hope you enjoyed. I feel like I've been so all over the place in this vlog, so hopefully I can edit it in a way that seems consistent and like chronological for you. But definitely let me know your thoughts on either Kingdom of Ash or Addie Larue if you've read either or both of them. And please give me like a little motivation to make it through Addie Larue. Again, it's not that I'm not enjoying it, it's just kind of a tricky book for me. I don't really know why. It might just be the period that I'm reading it in. But make sure to subscribe if you're not already, and definitely leave a like on this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.